body dance, don't stop. I just need a minute to find out what I'm feeling, cause I'm about to go nuts. And my demons trying to say what's up. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Wanna do it again 3, 4 times, cause it's better than a dream. Highway with young Lee, I will never get enough. So what a life surprise. You're all I ever had in mind. I'm happy in the sky, a big case of desire. I will never say goodbye. That's right. That's right. That's right. I wanna be yours. Wanna be yours. Tell her bodies to pull up.
Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down.
Lovely grab out. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you have recovered from that last round of games here at the European Ultimate Championships 2023. We are going into the women's division with action from the lower power pool. These two teams trying to jostle for position and see if they can snatch one of the 2 pre-quarter-final berths available for the top 2 finishers in the pool. It's the Netherlands taking on Austria, and I am Benjamin Rees, joined by Christina Obermeier. Afternoon, Christina.
Good afternoon, Benji. Good afternoon, everyone at home. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this could be a banger. Austria have secured their first win of the tournament today, beating Spain 15-12, whereas the Netherlands have had some mixed results.
They've been kind of flip-flopping. They won their first game against the Czech Republic, and then they lost on University against Switzerland. And then they won their next game against Poland quite comfortably. And then they lost on Universe to Italy. And then they beat Ireland quite comfortably. So, Universe point loss to Austria coming? That's
what I'm wishing for. A Universe point finish for sure. And then because, let's open up that bias, this jar of bias early, I am Austrian. I'm going to be always rooting for the Austrians to win, but also get a tied game. Tight and tied at the end of it, with a slight preference of Austria there, but I know some of the Netherlands players very well, and I'm hoping they can give it their all and give a good fight to us, to all of you at home, and to their opponents from Austria.
I, of course, am completely neutral.
As always.
Always.
Professional. Slightly more professional than I'm okay with that.
So the first pull comes up from the Austrians, Netherlands beginning on offense, and it will land out of bounds, so Anne Menard will bring it to the brick mark, fresh off playing in the open division at the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships at Nottingham last weekend. And the first pass is a swing to Bass. Now 10 Carter. The Dutch at the moment just playing things short. Oh, I thought that was risky. Munkau backed away from it slightly, and it allowed the defender to get the run through there, Melanie Brandl.
Brandl with the defense, and Scala to pick up for a first opportunity of a break for Austria.
Scala just puts that one too far out. Hoflacker left trailing. Maybe some early jitters for both sides. Minard strides confidently to the disc. Swings to Janne Jansen. Jansen puts up a floater that is ripped down there by Melody Bodenstein. Floated deep the other way. Austrian receiver in position. Just outside the end zone, a few meters away from the break, but that is not going to do it. Franca Ten Carter had the inside line and was able to tip it out of the sideline.
Ten Carter, a player to watch for the Netherlands. Herself on the Gut. On the team Gut.
And still only 18 years of age. Big swing central to Floor Cularts. Again, obviously there will be a lot of representation on this side, as you might expect. Running just a little slash cut there, Paula Bass. Bass uncorks the deep shot. Going to be tracked down well. No, again, just held up at the end a little bit, Munkau. And once more, that hesitation has cost them.
It was hesitation, but also that disc being very high and floating down slowly.
Again, misconnecting on the reset. And you cannot give the Dutch a short field like that, because the result is almost inevitable as Minard finds the target of Jette Bardul to make it 1-0.
Third time's a charm for the Netherlands, and that third offensive possession, they get there. They manage to put the disc into the end zone, and with wind like that, with a condition like that, this is probably your best shout. Just bomb it out there. Try and get it. If you don't, get the defense back early, and that's exactly what the Netherlands did there. Paula Bass with a big backhand. This one floating, as I already mentioned, but then getting putting on your defense and getting it as well, and that's a score.
I mean, that's what Bass is all about, really. They're known to have kind of an expansive arsenal of throws in the weaponry, and yeah, maybe the deep put is chief among them. So neither side able to land their first ball inbounds. Kati Meisel is going to take it from the brick mark, and I got the inkling from the Netherlands after having a little bit of chat with Paula Bass pre-game that they might try and go for some zone looks, and one is coming out here. Just trying to trap them on the sideline on the far side. They work it beyond and just close the hands at the wrong moment. The disc hung up for a little bit more, and Artusio had it go away, but both D-lines really struggling to connect on the resets.
Yeah, that early break opportunity for the Dutch slowly going away, and must pick up again. Red zone for Austria.
And shooting towards the end zone, and shooting bang on top as well. Sophie Brechko making the catch, one apiece.
That was a bit more efficient from the Austrian side, although they had a short field to work with earlier than the respective first offensive possession, offensive point for the Dutch. And Meisel to Brechko, two names you might have heard before, especially if you watch Austria once or twice. If you have watched Austria once or twice in the past. Meisel, of course, living in Belgium now and playing for Jaka. Brechko, on the other hand, very good at disc golfing as well. So it's typical for her to score goals, more typical for her to bomb it deep.
Yeah, she's played for catch-up from her home city of Graz, Mantis from Vienna, and Capital Punishment from Wellington in New Zealand, so travel a little bit as well. I remember watching her play at EYUC for the under-17 Austrian women back in 2017, and laid out to catch a disc right in front of her, and the disc landed like properly edged down, and is the most tacoed I've ever seen a Frisbee. It was basically bent in half.
She kept it in her hands though.
Yeah, oh my God, she did, yeah. Unbelievable. No, and no rights, like, ground strip yourself there. I think everyone would be like, fair enough, but nope. Hands like glue. Austrians coming with some zone of their own. There is some wind, not as strong as it has been at points, but it's blowing towards the bottom right corner of your screen. So this is theoretically the harder direction to go. That one is going to float over the top of Equalizing as if to make my point. Austrian's going to go with the slow pickup here. Bodenstein.
Yeah, that disc floating for ages, but not in the reach anywhere near pullouts.
Threatening the inside. Force makes himself big to prevent the option going. In the backfield, Zenz goes back to Bodenstein. And both sides really struggling with their resets.
And that disc was far too zippy and pushed into the ground before the release even. Straight out of free card for Netherlands.
Zenz has to take an injury sub. Wonder just bending a finger back perhaps. Hopefully nothing too serious.
Yeah, trying to catch that, and Randl coming in for the substitution.
So checked back in. Both sides with some miscues to work out. Equalizing fakes that high release deep. And instead they're trying to swing it around the back, see if they can gain some lateral movement. Pendulum their way down the field. Bardol. Now Menard. He's got that compression sleeve on her left calf. Trying to work it through. Thought that might have been a little bit rushed, but not a problem. It's a very patient possession here for the Netherlands. They're happy to take those lateral passes and see if they can get the synergy to allow more positive field movement with it. Janssen back to Baas. Baas zips that one through. Now they've got some room to work with. Baas again on the sideline. To Janssen, back to Equalizing. Again, just still slowly walking and working their way downfield. Patience, the virtue here, as the Austrians move into match coverage. Van der Meulen makes the catch with the defender just on her back. Menard trying to be aggressive, taking on the inside shot. Equalizing just outside the end zone, doesn't want to force it. They've been so calm in this possession in working it up. Don't force it if they have to, because that is why maybe just rush the shot a tad. The defender tips it and goes for the quick pickup. All of that hard work, that grind, that graft comes unstuck. The deep put, I think Baas is going to pick this one off, knocks it to the floor. Nice gainer down the far sideline there to Janne Janssen. Again, patience against the Austrian wall. I think there seems to be a call from the sideline to transition. So they dissolve into the match defense. Van der Meulen looking at quite a static setup downfield.
I was going to say, was it patience or was it just tiredness already?
Bas has Coularts probably a few meters out. Not more than that. Back to Bas. Motions players away, and then Bas breaks the force with aplomb, punches it in the end zone, and Jette Bardol catches her second goal of the game. Netherlands back on top, 2-1.
Austria really grinding out on defense at that point. You can see that the Netherlands have worked really hard for that first possession already, as the second one, you called it patience, and it might have just been that against the zone. On the other hand, it looked like they were a bit flat, not very many options coming from that stack, and then the few players that are highlighted for the Netherlands in terms of assists and goals doing really much of the work, but picked up well by the Austrians. If you couldn't have guessed already who that was, it's who we see on the screen here, Paula Bas, who also throws that assist, so adds another one to her tally. Fleur Coularts, who was on the field there, Anne Menard, who was actually also on the field, and Justine van der Meulen also on that apparent O-line of the Netherlands. They have a whole lot of assists and goals combined for them.
Yeah, they really have a few players who are very much kind of bearing the brunt of the load offensively, as opposed to the Austrians, who are maybe a bit more equitable in their spread around.
The Austrian coach said that was easy to spot and easy to scout as well.
It's one thing to scout it and to spot it. It's another thing to stop it.
Rottensteiner running up the line even though everyone else was already standing.
I think a bump on the mark. Meisel resumes and Rottensteiner makes the same cut. Meisel charges up line. Broken into Paschinger.
Acrobatic catch there from Brechko, bopping it up with her own foot.
Unbelievable tackers. Now Settina, who is one of those players who is making their offensive impact felt. 9 assists, 4 goals so far. Rottensteiner clears out up line. Instead, it's just a little dish into the hands of Paschinger. A bit behind, but well reeled in there by Daniela Settina. Settina squares the hips, pivots infield, gets the around break. Rottensteiner. Now Zenz. Austrians being patient here. Thought there was the chance for the poach block, but it doesn't come. And the first clean hold of the game goes Austria's way. We're tied at 2s.
There was great flow working it up that far side and not really using a lot of space, a lot of width of the field, but they didn't even need that. Settina getting open up the line again and again, and then at the right moment going around and over Zenz there into Rottensteiner, and opening out up that break side is Paschinger, who then puts it in for the score.
Settina continues burgeoning and buffing her stats tally so far this tournament. 2 each. First clean hold of the game goes to Austria there. Both sides, I think especially the Netherlands, we kind of a lot of the time we think about the deep game. And certainly I've seen a lot of these Austrian players utilize that very effectively as well. But so far I think both sides have said that we're not going to let you beat us that way. We want to force you to work it slowly down the pitch. And they seem to have adjusted to that, the offences, and are taking it in their stride.
Yeah, I do think that playing the long game works at times, but it's not going to get you through a tournament. Maybe a 2 to 3 day tournament where you can grind out your players, but you have to work more efficient and maybe more stable as well. That's why in other sports you see these deep shots not always connecting. As higher the level gets, the more versatile your offense has to become, and this is also something I think we can see from both these sides. They can bail their shots out with deep goals. It's not a risk they want to take for every single one of those points though.
Just match this time for the Austrians. And Janne Jansen sees the opportunity. Munkau the target. This time she's able to bring it in. Had a couple of steps of separation. Time to set herself for the catch. Outside the end zone, Menard jinks and jives. Setting up the ISO to Collard. Oh, and that is filthy. The inside high release flick from Menard to Collard for 3-2.
That is beautiful stuff. Everything you can do, I can do better from the Netherlands. There, that one also a clean hold and a far quicker one this time around. Janne Jansen very open for that continuation towards the open sign, and then the marker slashing through and opening up the arm is Jansen. Munkau in pursuit, gets it there. Bit of a height mismatch as well, and just dishes it into the end zone.
Yeah, this is the sensible thing. I'm not going to force it. Here's Menard. We'll let her crack open the keys and oh, baby.
That was fluttery.
You only needed to be a few yards, so
fair enough.
Got it out cleanly enough.
That works. So we can see the already highlighted players showing us why they are. Kulats with another goal, and
Menard with another assist.
This assist, yeah. And Menard, of course, I think everyone's talked about it again and again and again, playing in the open division at World Under-24s.
I think it shows strength of character, because she would have gotten, and unfortunately she did get a bit of stick for being like, what's a girl doing playing in the open division? Not, I had stressed very much, not my words. Well, she was there because she was good enough, and she proved that there in the week, and she made fools of an awful lot of people. It is very much still the open division. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Four-person cup there for the Netherlands, but not really guarding their downfield well. Austria have gotten gainers of yards again and again, as Meisel is trapped on the far side now.
Can Meisel find a way to break through? She can. Manipulates the space. It's cooled down. Roy was the player who thinks she got a hand underneath it. They're going to have the discussion.
Roy showing us how she thinks she caught it by demonstrating it on the ground. I gotta say, I did not see that clearly, so I don't have an opinion really.
I wish I could be like, oh, I had the best perspective. I knew exactly what happened.
Our reliable stats person, Dice, says she thinks it was up, but of course that's also just another opinion on the sideline.
If they're not sure, I don't think there's any harm in contesting it and sending it back. And that is actually going to be what happens here in the end.
I don't think we had a clear angle there as well. Contesting it is just the right outcome in that situation, I think.
Ooh, it's close. On that angle, I think maybe might have skimmed the grass, but in the end, going back to Austria. Rottensteiner shooting down the sideline. Roy into the end zone for the Austrian score. It's threes now.
All tied up again, and the Netherlands do everything they can on defense, but Austria manages to break through that zone. They did put pressure on that sideline, but at some point they broke through the middle, and that's the danger with a four-person cup. At some point, you can't recover anymore. If you have so many people around that disc, and that disc breaks through towards the middle and towards the nearer side, there's going to be an abundance of defensive players so far away from it that you can never catch up, and that's exactly what happened, even though there was a stoppage at a crucial moment, in my opinion. The Austrians always were that step in front, and it seems like the game we expected all tied up in at threes.
Both of these sides obviously trying to get the best result possible to give yourself theoretically a better pre-quarter-final matchup. Top two pools face the teams in this pool, face the bottom team in each of the top power pools, and so the winner of this pool plays the loser or the bottom place team in. I'll double check this and I'll get back to you. So there is Frisbee to be called. Minard pumping through the centre. Janssen. Killarts is a shorter option. Not in terms of stature, but just in terms of distance of pass, and on a high stall, it confidently puts air underneath it, and you can see why. Because the trust in the receivers is well placed. Another goal here, a third of the game for Jette Bardol.
It seemed like Bardol and also Kulot were absolutely free there. No defensive player on Kulot's marking her or on Bardol with the score. Scheidel peeling up from someone else who she was defending and trying to get a finger in there, but that just in too much space. There was just too much space to put the disc to.
So the winner of this pool plays the last place team in Power Pool I, which will be one of Great Britain, Germany, Switzerland and the Czech Republic, while the second place team plays the last place team in Power Pool J, which is Italy, France, Sweden and Belgium. On the one hand, you think if there's a team that maybe you prefer your matchup against, do you maybe try and game to finish in one of those two positions? But on the other hand, I think just winning games is a good habit to get into, and so there's no point, you know, oh, actually we want this team, so we'll make and then you face someone different anyway.
To be honest, I think this is a mentality that can break a team, saying, hey, I don't want to win. You were here at this championship to win and to play to your best abilities, and yeah.
I'm with you. If I'm at Euros, you can't tell me that I'm not trying to win every game. A lot of contact there from Minard. Wind pops it up slightly, not a problem for Brechko, who shoots one into tight coverage and turns it over.
That disc just rolling around and popping over. And that's a break opportunity for the Netherlands, and the first one in quite a while.
After 4 clean holds, what can the Dutch do going downwind? Minard wants to shoot it, and I think it was just tipped on a little bit there by Roy, but not sure that the Dutch receiver was going to get there anyway.
Roy, still under 24's player who decided to go women's team only, and showing why.
Nice up line. Thought Brechko might pull the trigger again. This time a bit more reticent. Rottensteiner reaches, collects with 2 hands. Now on a high stall, putting air underneath it. Tracked all the way there. Wilhelm slaps it to the floor. Van der Meulen's going to pick it up this time.
Bailout option for Rottensteiner goes to ground. Winter Atuzio close there, but not as quick as the Netherlands defender.
Bernard separates for the reset. Goes up line to Van der Meulen. Now Hurfnagels. She's going to put some air on it. Laying out receiver at the back of the end zone. Just couldn't quite get there, Suzanne Slow. And has to take the injury as well. Hope there's nothing more than just maybe a bit of a winding about that.
I think you said laying out the fender even before she tried to jump into the air.
I had the faith.
club, of course, also out of Chut. And yeah, we expect him to do great things, and she did there. I hope she is okay. But Austria get a little lucky there. Regain possession.
A second opportunity squandered by the Dutch. Meisel striding purposefully to the end zone line. Decent sub to bring on here, Coulards. Slashes the disc through. No immediate continuation. The adjustment could be made on the catch by Ninaus. Using the around break backhand. Van der Meulen. And there's a foul called away from the disc.
Minal got tripped there by Ninaus, it looks like.
Yeah, obviously they will talk about whether this affected, but had she not been tripped, could that have been thrown to maybe?
I do think that was after she already had faked, and that's a hand block.
It is a hand block by Brechko.
Players are gonna... It's an uncontested foul.
Accepted foul.
Oh, sorry, I'm still in that old language.
Yep.
Accepted foul. Slips in every now and then. So an accepted foul as Minat goes to ground and the disc goes back.
Van der Meulen down the line for Coulards. Not yet. Puts the air underneath it. That time Coulards finds Minard. 5-3, a first break of the game. And it puts the Netherlands in the driving seat.
It definitely does. That was... Of course, they were scoring upwind so far. And this is a downwind break, which is maybe the one easier to get than an upwind break. And it's not that bad of a bad position, but it really it is a commanding sign for the Netherlands, especially in terms of mentality. But they had to work very, very, very hard to get there. And again, using their important pieces, not using all their team.
There is one other game going on at the moment in the bottom pool. Spain currently leading Poland 7-3. So Spain, looking to notch their first win of the tournament, are in a good position to do so.
See an abundance of players there on the sidelines. Coulards highlighted for us here. Her first assist going with her first goal.
Paschinger takes it from the sideline, with the disc having rolled out of bounds, and now Ninaus as they continue it all the way around. Paschinger, here's Zenz. Breaking towards the far side, Satina wants to continue it downfield. Ninaus expects the transition to match to come, and it does. Players slipping about all over the place. And that time Paschinger was going one way, the disc was going the other. She could not adjust and redirect in time. Boss. Kulan continues to Denise. How can the Dutch D-line work against the wind? Was it a bit too far out in front? Maybe could have been an easier catch. Vila Janssen, the younger of the two, was on the reach, and it just about worked its way through her outstretched fingers. Seemed to be a complete miscommunication there. Not quite sure what happened, but I'm not sure the Dutch mind. Tekla Emborg celebrates.
I bet they don't mind at all. But this Austrian team, very athletic, so know how to play defense and might get it back again. That might be my bias speaking, though. As the Dutch are underway.
This time they're jacking it, and I think that was always going to be a little bit too low. Slob showed no fear. And it was a committed attempt, even if it came up short.
Austrian coach asking for a quick transition.
Oh, that was a really tough snag because that disc was sinking rapidly. Wind is picking up a little bit here as the afternoon draws on in Limerick. Pick. And that's going to give a stop to proceedings.
Pashinga with the disc in hand. Got lucky there a little bit as it wasn't quite there yet.
There's the deep shot. And it goes out of the side.
Yeah, a bit of a miscommunication maybe, or that just not the right shape on it. Instead of curling into the field, it curled out. Maybe released a little bit too late. And this is a grinding point. Doggo cam. Look at that flu.
Two of them. There has been it's been a very good day, or a very good week, in fact, for dog fans.
Beautiful grounds, of course, here in Limerick.
Yeah, the University of Limerick, which, as Lorcan will remind me, is Europe's premier sporting campus. Was Coolin the intended receiver? I'm not convinced, but she read it well. Goes to Boss, there's the around break available, no. Force comes round, Scala to stop. What a shot that is. Beautifully weighted inside flick, rakes its way across the field. Emborg. Goes for the high release down the line, I think that's too far, and it is.
That was out the side as well. Again, not quite the right angle on there, and an upwind break adding to that downwind one. Netherlands Scotland would have been crucial, like would have been back-breaking for the Austrians, as they are now on the way, going the other way.
Yeah, the Dutch would love a short field turnover here to put pressure on the Austrians in the red zone. Wonder how long their opponents stay in their system or whether they get tempted into the deep shot.
Looks like some kind of wall or zone setup for the Dutch side, as they're still trying to get a continuation deep, but not really anything happening on the field.
It is stifling the Austrians, or had been at least. They get the one to break it open to Satina. Points where the continuation needs to go, and Hoflacker rips it, looking for Zenz, and Denz catches and slides to make it 5-4. Brilliant sliding snag.
Anna Hoflacher really put the team on her back there. Not only this point, but the offensive possession before. She caught every other in the handler set with those deep stepping out backhands around, going to the other side of the pitch, and this throw utilized to perfection here as well, because these throws downwind get away from the players so quickly. You can see high snag and then wrapping up that disc here is Zenz with the layout to secure possession. Dia Zenz, of course, player on Mantis from Vienna, played with Jaka last year, the whole European and international season.
Yeah, a little bit older than some of the other players on this roster, but nice to have kind of, I think, that balance of kind of youth and experience. You need those, it feels wrong to say veterans, but she has played the game for a long time, so it's a player you can rely on when things maybe aren't going your way or get a little bit tough.
I think it's absolutely correct to say she's a veteran of the sport.
It just feels weird because she's only 32. So I'm just used to watching different sports where veterans are a fair bit older, as that reset just does not work, and the shot towards the far sideline.
Doesn't work either.
No, I mean, good attempt to lay out, but I think that was always going out the side there from Rottensteiner. Was looking for Magdalena Kreintz. Pass. Lofted over the top. Galartz at full sprint, got the hand low. Couldn't make it work. Red zone chance for Austria. Nice grab made under pressure there by Roy. Give go, Wilfing just outside the end zone. Can they find the break they need? Kind of going up line looking for Rottensteiner, but it's floated into traffic. And Ten Carter put her name on it and will now calmly walk to the front of the end zone. Big swing across. The layout does keep it up there from Minard. Just takes a second to set herself. Offense looking quite compressed here for the Netherlands.
Yeah,
There's a lot of traffic by the disc.
The Netherlands have to work so hard to get anywhere, but now they go.
And there's the shot, looking for Ten Carter. Even Ten Carter's not going to get that.
Now that disc put out into space by Minard. And again, trailing the wrong center. And I've mentioned that before. These discs are going to run away or fly away from players quickly. You really got to wait for them and wait some more until you put them up. You see a beautiful layout by Minard, securing that pass deep inside her own end zone.
I still don't hate the deep shot there from the Dutch, because at the very least the disc is now right down at the other end. You don't have to worry about giving a perfect break opportunity, as the disc is surrendered back to the Netherlands in their navy and orange. Oh, the high release flick over the top from Minard. Unreal stuff. Pass, they catch it to make it 6-4, but that was all about that final throw.
It was only one throw they needed. You could see that. And Bass in acres of space. You just had to get it to her somehow, and if you want someone to put it out to them, it's Minard. Putting it over the top and into the bread basket for the Netherlands, and I do believe Austria called a timeout here.
I mean, that is just a beautiful, beautiful disc there from Minard. 6-4, the Netherlands leading here. Women's division action at EUC 2023.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
(6-4) Netherlands up on Austria here, live from the University of Limerick for the European Ultimate Championships 2023, brought to you live wild and free here on ULTI.TV. And if that is something that you want to support, like, subscribe, you know the various YouTube calls to action at this point. I don't need to repeat them. And get yourselves onto the Patreon for as little as a pint of Guinness a month. Other brilliant Austrian, Irish stouts are available. You can help grow the spread of free live Ultimate for the people. Put yourself in that Austrian huddle. You're the Austrian coaches. What's the message?
Work the system. We've listened to, I have listened to the sideline, and what they're always calling is work with the system. They have a very clear system established, and I know most of it, I believe, and I don't think they're using it quite effectively yet, and I think they just can do better. So I think that's what, like, remember what you can do, and what you can do is
put a spicy one deep and enough defensive pressure to prevent it going into the hand of Brandl. It was low, but Brechko kept it up, and I think it was a well-judged deep put. There's definitely a bit of separation, and I think Brandl just gets underneath it a bit.
She turned around once. We're not at ballet. I'm kidding. Of course, she wanted to get a read on the disc and didn't quite manage, which means a break opportunity for the Netherlands.
Yeah, looking over the wrong shoulder there, perhaps, and there was that almost balletic pirouette that was unfortunately not to her advantage. Van der Meulen. Ching clears through. Oh, a floater. Not a problem, though, for Van der Meulen. Bass, brilliant cut to free themselves of the clutches of Zenz. Instead, it's around to Ching. Wants to take on the break. It is tipped once, twice, and into turf.
Vegard and Meiser both getting a hand there, and quickly to pick up Austria.
Zenz. Austrians now getting a bit more rhythm about the offense. Getting wide for the fake, and player was coming through, and the disc went behind them. Didn't have the connection there with Paschinger. Bass immediately opens it up, puts the air underneath it. Two-handed layout snag there from Hofnagels. Can they run the 1-2 around the end zone? Going back, Van der Meulen. High to Bass, who calls the timeout. This makes sense to me because they know how important an upwind break here would be. They'll be able to go downwind next point with a chance to take another one into half. Bass's decision here to call the timeout makes a lot of sense to me, Christina.
It does make some sense. Also, there is this illness that we have all probably heard of, the turnout.
The curse of the turnout, yes.
And it can always happen. It's windy conditions. There's pressure on defense. And if you let them set their defense up to perfection, well, who knows what will happen? .6-4, Netherlands need Austria here. Setting up off a timeout
with a red zone opportunity to catch an upwind break. Baas is the player with it. Give it Ching, parallel as a reset, looking to isolate Van der Meulen in space just in front of the end zone.
Looks like Austria set up a zone or poachy lip of some sort.
Yeah, I think the idea here is to stop whatever set play the Dutch had cooked up. Van der Meulen just comes right through. Nice transition there, passed off pretty quickly by the Austrian defenders, foul called. Bath tried to come through and just an extension of the arms there from Brandl. Van der Meulen unlocks Baas. Here's Ching with the defender trailing into pretty much a similar position to where the timeout was taken now. Van der Meulen picked downfield. That's going to go back. It happened a long time ago, relatively.
So that stack very static because of a pick in the back. Might have not affected players out. There's always this discussion of if everyone had stood for quite some time, does it affect the game differently? And players, I do think, will agree as the disc goes back.
Ching to Van der Meulen. Wanted the inside look. Player poaches off into the space, or when they all got drawn into coverage, and it means that Baas is open, and Baas makes it 7-4.
A miscommunication. A miscommunication on the Austrian side just opens up the field, and two Dutch players absolutely free in the end zone. Baas collects the score for the third point in a row. Second break for, no, actually not true. Austria did score on that one, but the second break for the Netherlands. They do look more composed, let's put it that way, at this stage of the game.
Yeah, you can see what happens there. I think they realize that one of them has left that receiver in the center there poached, so they both push in there, bit of miscommunication to cover it, and it leaves the shot to Baas, which is not the easiest shot with the wind, but well pulled off well enough.
Absolutely fine, yeah. I do think Pashinger was given the assignment of guarding the space, and Brandl thought they were switching players, which they didn't do, so both of them were just, hovering around, leaving Baas completely open.
So the Netherlands will look to cash in the subsequent downwind and take us into half. Good pull, well judged. The edge takes it back in bounds. Side stack from the Austrians. Oh, that is a floater, and I would have liked a bit more pressure underneath that one. Kramer, in the end, had a relatively comfortable catch. But this front three doesn't want to necessarily get sucked in too much. It would have forced Austria out of whatever they had drawn up from the pool. What adjustment can they make? Trying to be proactive in passing off threats downfield. Rottensteiner.
I love the way the Austrians work against that poachy zoney look. There's two main handlers and then three other people always helping out, but no one really set to be back in the static space. So they're moving with those give and goes, and then in the right moment, attacking to switch field position.
Rothensteiner swinging around to Satina. After maybe that floaty first pass, everything seems a lot more composed now from Austria. Kramer.
It does seem like it took them that one pass to get into zone mode, as now Netherlands transition out of it.
And foul immediately accepted there by Coularts.
Coulart's going foot first. See that here? That is very dangerous.
And from the resumption, Austria turns it over. Netherlands looking for the dagger here. Catch under all sorts of pressure from Slobe.
Hit in the face by Cetina.
You see it again now on the replay. Yeah, Cetina just swipes through the face. Stone cold foul.
Not even close to the disc.
The only question there was whether the receiver wanted to call it or just play on. A few meters away, staring at the plane of the end zone. Sneaky inside through. Some players celebrated too early because Coularts, I think, just eased off the form for that one, and it should have been half-time.
Could have been, for sure, but Austria back with possession.
The Austrians given another life. How will they use it? This one close to the sideline. Well towed by Wilfing. Just going to pop it through. Now they've got a bit more positivity about the offense. Coularts comes all the way around on the mark. The throw still comes off, and it is ripped into the wind. A couple of defenders there, plus the receiver, and the defenders combine, but there might be too much contact. Foul is called.
Scala there underneath it, and both these defenders behind her, but maybe trying to go through to get the disc and initiating body contact through that.
Is that hand down when she catches it?
No, afterwards, I think. You see a lot of... It looks like Scala even has it in her hands already and it's popped out. Oh, but it's a retracted foul.
So disc goes back to the Netherlands. Had the discussion and then decided nothing untoward there. Oh yeah, she does have it first. So the first pass swings to Slob. Inside break. I don't think there was ever any doubt that Coularts was going to put it. Marcia Kulin backpedals. Got the one-on-one. Looking away from it, wanting some handling support. An injury stoppage, it seems, away from the disc. Players walking off the field under her own power, just trying to get a spy of who that is over on the far side. I think Sophie Alder, maybe?
Yeah, Sophie Alder looks a bit shaken up. Currently studying medicine in Innsbruck. Plays for Insiders, but originally from Graz. Playing for Ketchup.
So Boss will look to bring the Netherlands into half. Resets back to Minard. What can she do? Powering the D-line offense. The break, well judged, into the end zone. 8-4. The Dutch have the half-time lead. And Marijn Boon with the score.
And I might have talked about the ability of Austria to just distribute evenly and have many different goal scorers and assist givers, but it seems at this moment the Netherlands work very well with their big talents, and there's a reason they're putting these people into position, and that's kind of a missing from the Austrian side, in my opinion. The one or two people that step up and go through and make the big plays.
And we did say it, you might be able to spot the stars. Can you stop the scars? That is a different matter entirely. 8-4 the Netherlands here with the half-time lead, and looking good value for it as well. Going to have a quick little look at the game stats so far, powered by our friends over at Force Sportswear. Half-time here in women's division action at the European Ultimate Championships. Having looking at the game stats powered by Force Sportswear. 8-4 the lead, 3 breaks for the Netherlands compared to none for Austria. And they've generated 3 more turnovers and 3 more break chances, but Austria, I think, really have done enough that they should be converting at least one of those.
I think so as well. Maybe these miscommunications were due to the wind or due to the conditions, but still someone has to step up. I already said that before we went to our ads, and they are grinding. You can see that this team has a lot of broad stretch talent, but you know, not really getting those turns.
Yeah, you need someone here to maybe step up and try and put the team on their back a little bit.
My money is on Katarina Ninos.
Why?
Because she's got the swag. No, kidding. I'm kidding. Her name is Swagger, but I do think in all of these, if I had to pick one person to carry me through a universe point, it would be her, quite honestly. She is young, but she has amazing throws and is super hardworking as a player, as a person, and just in general. And I think her energy is just what Austria need right now. Taking the team on her back a little bit, stepping up and taking that role on. Of course, she doesn't know anything about that yet, so I might tell her after the game that she has to do that from now on. But I do think that the coaches are experienced enough to know what to say and to give the players the right tools to work with in order to get the job done, because the job is to win, and the coach is now actually talking with Katarina Ninos and maybe explaining her new role on top. Of course, again, all of this is just
Conjecture,
in my imagination.
But evidently the coaches see the things the same way you do. Just getting a little look at maybe the tactical breakdown that the coaches are providing there, using the official game disc as a little backboard there. The Eurodisc, of course, organic discs, which are perfect for the windy conditions, made in Germany, but now also with production offices in the US and Australia. And Eurodisc continue to help bring you free live Ultimate with their support of ULTI.TV, which we thank them greatly for. And of course, 9 o'clock this evening, you can have Limerick Late Night Live from 55, presented by our friends over from Eurodisc.
And we will have special guests again.
We will indeed.
But so many different things happened today. Upsets and crazy games and highlights all over that we're not sure who it will be yet. If you want to be part of it, send us a message on Instagram or put it in the live chat or just show up. We'll put you in there. Doesn't matter.
I mean, it might matter a little bit, but as many people as we can get on board to bring you all the breaking news and biggest stories from here at the European Ultimate Championships in Limerick. We will do our utmost to show you those. 8-4 Netherlands up at half-time here. Austria will be receiving to begin the second half. So they will be going upwind, so potentially an opportunity for the Netherlands to score a 4th point in a row.
Yeah, a tough condition to be in if you're Austria, but we didn't come here to have fun playing beach frisbee. I'm kidding, of course, but we are here to win. We are here, or at least the players are. We are here to watch them win, to give their all, and they came here. They prepared for these exact fights to being able to perform on a stage like this. All of these players have been working all year long, preparing for this week, and it's here now. And let's just take it away from them. Or if you're the Netherlands, take it, like, stay up there. Show that you are the better team. They have definitely shown it in the first half.
8-4. Second half just about to get underway. Netherlands just clearing the field, splitting their sidelines so they can get all that info across. Good pull from the Netherlands to Austria field from just outside their own end zone. Going from the side stack again, another floater towards the far side as the players downfield begin to adjust out of that, with the Netherlands coming down with the zone once more at the start of the second stanza of this game. Slightly floaty one there, not a problem for Winter Artusio. Now leading past just shy of the end zone. Hoflacher into the end zone for the score for Emilia Winter Artusio. Easy as that. Whatever adjustments the Austrians talked about at halftime, clearly they put them into practice well.
Yeah, that was just beautiful flow offense from the Austrian. Winter Artusio giving and going and getting another goal for the team here. And it was the same zone. We see that high grab here. This caught as it was ascending, and Roy putting it into Artusio. Oh, actually to Hoflacher, and Hoflacher finds Artusio in the end zone. That is just very well done, executed well, and it seems like there wasn't as much pressure from the Netherlands this time around. Of course, the zone we saw before, I started with that before we saw the replay, and it never did put so much pressure on the handler side. They just managed better to close the downfield continuation at times, and this time around Austria didn't even have to move it from one side to the other, but could go down the pitch on that far side in an arcing manner. But it's break time now for Austria. They did the easier job of holding their offense. Now it's break time if they want to stay in the game.
Austrians going with the zone on their own. Bas trying to wait one over the top. Oh, I thought Kulartz had waited too long as Brechko closed in, but it meant the deep shot's available. Kulartz puts it into the wind, looking for a target, and the target, unfortunately, turns out to be Roy. Munkau was supposed to bring it in, but the wind forced it to hang up long enough as Ten Carter gets it back for the Netherlands. Janne Jansen wanted to pick it up quickly and then was told, no, we're just going to get set here. And we're going to isolate Floor Kulartz at the front of the end zone. And you knew that was coming, the high release flick again. Until they stop it, just keep doing it. 9-5.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot there to Kulartz, and it inevitably, getting that disc into the end zone. At Netherlands, the defensive pressure is so impressive, and that worked out again. The deep shot, putting it up there, and it didn't connect obviously, but then putting on a lot of pressure on defense, getting it back right there on their goal line and gaining yards with it actually. Oh, another dog on the grounds here.
Lots of good boys and girls this week. I will tell you as well that the production desk is keeping a little tally of them as well. This one, I'm not quite sure how Brechko didn't get there, but Kulartz rose above. She fakes once, I think just because there's a lot of traffic in the way. And as she does so, the wind picks up and showing the underside, it floats up there. It's a really good read by Roy to get into position and bring it down. The Austrian defenders had Munkau bracketed, but that one floated up a little bit. Ten Carter got the block. And then I think this is why they told Jansen just to stay away for a sec, because if you just give that one-on-one coverage, especially with the face mark, Minard's just going to keep doing it. You need to find a way of shutting that down.
Yeah, I do think this is probably one of the most hard, the hardest throws to shut down is that high release flick break.
Yeah, I think it's less about maybe shutting it down on the mark and more about maybe just getting another defender in there to poach, either from the stack or maybe have one of those other handler defenders sink into the lane. Blading backhand for the reset, continued around here to Hoflacher. Ching was trying to get a hand in there. Zenz still managed. And now offloading and getting it back from Paschinger. Lovely little bit of separation created up line, chops the feet Hoflacher. Been impressed with her input this game. Meisel continuing it all the way round, but to no one.
Yeah, that disc always rather low and Heinz trying, but not quite there.
There's the deep shot, but it's low and flat. And Hofnagels didn't really get the chance to bid for it.
She didn't adjust to the throw, in my opinion. That throw was low, but she could have caught it if she had turned around and ran towards the throw rather than just waiting for it to end up in her hands.
Nice switched off, passed off there by the Dutch handler defenders. As Hoflacher throws it behind Zenz.
That disc leaving her hands awkwardly, and a much better field position for the Dutch.
Backhand fate down the line. Minard will look to power the D-line offense. Holstered that one. Not sure that she wanted to, but decided at the last moment that she could. And then with the defenders sucked to the open side, a cheeky little high release there. Popped over into Tien Ching. And 10-5 now. Netherlands pulling away into the distance.
Doubling the score once again. And Austria really with a struggle there. They got it back again and again, but it seems that whatever they put, the Netherlands defense put up, it just works so well on them. There's not really a clear path that would guide the Austrians to come up with that disc in their end zone, and the Netherlands are just, they seem calm and collected and just, you know, running with it. Whereas Austria really struggled to complete more than 2 or 3 passes in a row.
In the other game in this bottom power pool, Spain have their first victory in sight. 12-7 at the moment, they lead the polls. But Austrian eyes might also be kind of looking at the side from the Austria Open side, having a rematch against the Netherlands. They lost the first one 15-10. They're 13-9 up in this one.
Oh yes! My personal interest, of course, also there. And it's a fun thing that Austria and the Netherlands are playing each other in both single gender divisions.
And I think you have a little bit more reason to watch them than maybe most, because your brother's playing on them.
He is doing very well. Thank you for asking.
So the first pass, a nice gainer down the line, looking to get the swing all the way across towards the far side. Wilfing gets it back from Rottensteiner. And now Ninaus shooting deep towards the back of the end zone. Shot it too far, didn't adjust for the wind. Vintaratucio gave chase, but in vain.
Ninaus taking control here, working in the handler's head, getting every other as well, but that shot ran with the wind and out the back. Maybe just inches away out of Vintaratucio's hand, but another break opportunity for Denmark. That's not Denmark, it's the Netherlands. For the Dutch, as we saw some drone footage. Of course, with conditions like that, no rain and a bit of wind, perfect weather for the drone to come out and give us another perspective on the pitch.
I mean, I think the pilots might prefer no wind at all, but otherwise, yeah, it's compared to some of the weather we've had this week, and the drone was absolutely a no-go.
Some of the weather we've had today.
Yeah, the weather comes and goes quickly. You've got to be prepared for anything out here. So down the line, Austria didn't think about cramming it in there. Wisely so. That one's going to pop off the hands, and Van der Meulen slaps it to the floor.
That give and go, where rather than stretching it out, Scala tried to put it in.
As Bas opens it up, cranks it deep. Well brought down there by Marcia Kuhlen. And Kuhlen and Van der Meulen bounce it between each other a bit. Van der Meulen again, working with Kuhlen. Now Denise gets involved. Bas takes up offline. They're the option, and they're the goal scorer, 11-5. The Dutch have now scored 6 of the last 7 points.
They are definitely on a roll. Here are the Dutch and the kick spike out of Bas in celebration. It's their game right now.
It's 6 of the last 7 and 8 of the last 10. They were tied at 3s, and then the Dutch have really been able to pull away, and in a way I think this is what they'd have been hoping for. You know, obviously they're disappointed to be in the bottom power pool, but it can give them a chance to fine-tune some things, get the confidence up perhaps, as opposed to a team, you know, who from the lower power pool who will maybe be struggling for form a bit. The Dutch will have kind of got those good vibes going, and so, you know, they'll be viewing things with a bit more of a positive mindset perhaps than whoever their pre-quarter opponents will be.
I do agree with you. I, on the other hand, do think though that they are lacking depth, and I don't want this to seem like being negative in any way, but they are heavily relying on their favorite favorite targets and favorite players, and they're doing amazingly. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, can they do it a whole week? Can Minna do it after playing a whole week of championship already?
Well, I do wonder if the fact that they're in the lower pool maybe means that you know, they can utilize the depth of the roster a bit better. It's an interesting one, though. Would you rather have, you know, give yourself the best opportunity by being in those top pools? I think, you know, I think the Dutch rather would, but this is the situation they found themselves in, so they'll have to make the most of it. As the deep put is going to be well contested, but not well enough. Brilliant commitment there from Katharina Scheidel to make it 11-6, because she was not the favourite to come down with it there.
Absolutely not. A height mismatch of some sort there, and Scheidel running through that. She is so quick. She is quicker than some people on the open team, and really got in there, and Brečko opening up the arm here, just yakking it deep. And I do think Slob was the defender there, touching it, and Scheidel on that second attempt, laying out and getting that disc, making use of that tinier frame and the quick movement she has to get that score. And she does that all day, every day for Bucks, where she and I play together.
I mean, when that put goes up from Brečko, I'm a little surprised, because Scheidel does not have position on that at all. The defender is deepest, but that's backing your receiver and it working.
Playing with her again and again, I would back her 100%. Always. She will, like, unless Slob's actually catching that over her and jumping over her, I will always back her to get those discs.
So Anne Menard will brick the disc in the evening sun here in Limerick. So just going to poach those handlers slightly. See if they can stop the yard gainers with the early passes. Bardol to Menard, who has Bass. Bass with a purposeful fake. Not happy with what they see. And the Austrian zone doing a good job of forcing the Dutch back. That is a superb adjustment from Menard. Not that you'd expect anything else from her at this point. Bass is open. Can get the dish off forward to Menard. Utilising some throw and go motion. Ten Carter comes underneath. Plenty of separation. And throws that just past the defender who came in, didn't get there. Now that frees Bass. Bass into the end zone for a laying out Colarts, who can't collect it.
That throw put on a platter, but that platter was too far out in front for Colarts. But they got close to the end zone once again with some heroic plays, but nothing we haven't seen them connect on before.
It's a play that we have seen Colarts make in the past, but it was not a play that she should really have had to make, potentially.
She was very open as well. But
I mean, the Dutch were able to get that one back. The misconnection on the deep shot. Austrian sideline, trying to get their charges pumped up here. Bass. Not necessarily seeing an option that they like, but that is well found, floating one open atop. Janne Jansen revealed themselves.
very static now from the Dutch side. They only need that one option in the middle and they get Janne Jansen.
It's a slow piecemeal possession so far. But they have worked it beyond the brick mark again, sneaking it through two defenders, and when they bid, that frees more space downfield. On the end zone line here, Munkau. Menard, just a few yards out, doesn't want to force that one in. I've already turned it over in the red zone. That one, oh, Bas again asking a lot of Kularts. This time Kularts comes up trumps, 12-6.
We are staying in that same pattern of Netherlands doubling up the score of Austria. 12-6 in favor of them now, and as Flora Scala gets some encouraging words out of Natalie, coach for Austria. Scala, of course, a player on Jinx. Moved to Berlin, born and raised in Vienna, and is rumored to, you know, potentially look somewhere else in the future.
Certainly a career to keep an eye on in future. That is such good cat-like reflexes there from Kularts, who seems relatively unfazed by the whole thing.
Me too.
She's done this many times before. She'll do it many times again.
Not even surprised, to be honest. Of course, these plays aren't normal, but the way they're executing it just seems as if nothing had happened really, and it's the most normal thing to do. Going low and scooping up that disc millimeters away from the ground.
So electing to let the pool hit the floor this time. And low, can't give it back to Pashinger. What another break chance this is. They had the first pass and the next one was open and went through it with the trailing edge.
Yeah, maybe a set play that didn't quite work out for them.
Always tricky because you're just trying to scoop it from behind and the spin's naturally taking it out of your hands. As with a high stall, Minard puts a trust throw to the back of the end zone. Trust well placed in Anna Hofnagel's 13-6. That there was certainly an element of fortune about that one.
Absolutely. Austria with the miscommunication early, and then that hospital pass connecting, and yeah, Netherlands is just a more composed team in this sequence, and it looks like a timeout has been called by one of the teams.
Yeah, presumably Austria here, because the game is getting away from them in a hurry. Just getting a replay of that last point there. High stall, putting it deep towards the back of the end zone. A, did well to keep it in bounds, and B, brought down well by Hofnagels. 13-6, the Netherlands leading here. Dutch 2 points away here from another victory. So far they've kind of traded wins with losses, but this time now it looks like they're finally able to string back-to-back wins together, although of course they do still have to finish this one out against Austria. 13-6 though, looking good for the win. A hammer there, just lofted into Roy's grasp. Now Brechko wants the deep shot, has the deep shot, fires the deep shot, and this time it is denied. We're shooting for Scheidel again, but Kuhlen got underneath it and got a hand in there, utilized the wingspan to knock it away from Scheidel.
Yeah, maybe not placed as well this time around. It wasn't as far, as much space there down the field as it was the first time around, and Kuhlen with the mac of that disc and using her frame very well.
It's weird because there's less space to work with, but I felt like Scheidel had way more separation. The Dutch want to shoot deep themselves. This one is not going to hang anywhere near enough.
Quick pickup for Austria again.
Another deep shot, both sides trading long shots. Again, the Dutch defense denies.
Seems like Austria just taking that risk now of Huck and D.
Especially going downwind. Lead pass, hustled down by Van der Meulen. And Kuhlen goes back to Boss with Scheidel in a pocket.
Austria using some kind of forcing middle mark here.
Another deep shot from the Dutch. Wanted to jump it and milk it into the end zone, and the dairy is indeed open for Philly Janssen. 14-6. Netherlands 1 away from the win.
Within one, they could end this if they gain another break, and Austria have yet to complete a break in this game, let alone a third hold in this second half. It's been the Netherlands show all along.
From the sides trading for the first 6 points to 3-all, it's now an 11-3 run for the Netherlands. Boss there, ripping that one away in the deep space.
Timeout called by Austria here.
Yeah, good opportunity for them to try and reset their heads as the Dutch close in on a powerful victory.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
14-6 the current scoreline here. Women's division action from the European Ultimate Championships 2023 in the beautiful host city of Limerick here in the Republic of Ireland. Game point for the Netherlands.
It's sunny, sunny Limerick indeed.
Yeah, we're not even lying this time.
Yeah. Are we ever really lying? We're manifesting.
I think the weather's generally been pretty good all day.
Well, from 1 p.m. on.
What time did we start streaming?
1 p.m.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Fair enough, okay. Everything that is recorded was perfect weather.
For those of you who were wondering why there weren't the first 2 game rounds today on the ULTI.TV fields, it's because there has, as you might expect for Limerick, been some various deluges of rain over the past few days. So the pitches were rested this morning just to give them a bit of a break.
Yeah, they were soaking wet.
Yeah, just trying to make sure that all the standing water clears away, which it does because the drainage at these facilities is excellent.
Looks like they're used to the weather. Could you imagine?
Yeah, funny that. Dutch looking to break for the win. Settina. First pass goes back to Rottensteiner. Settina doesn't want the inside look there to Meisel. Now near the sideline, Rottensteiner. Brandl. Low, Meisel scoops. And Meisel guns it. A few players for both sides in the area. And again, generally, the Dutch have dominated the deep space offensively and defensively. Again, they come through. They could end the game here. Kularts. Shake to come through underneath, was looked off though instead. Bas collects the reset. And now it's their turn to try and gain some yardage downfield, which they do, to Lustelot map. Still count ticking up. Kularts wants to end it in style. Plenty of air underneath the deep shot. A foul is called.
Rottensteiner jumping over from behind. I thought she got a clear path because she was so much earlier, but we get a second look here. She jumps from behind, definitely touches the Dutch player, but she jumped very early and had a good position as well.
Yeah, Herfnagels, I think, was certainly a bit hesitant in going up for it. Does that excuse the contact that was caused?
I don't know. What do you think? I think I might not say anything. Oh, but it seems players agree with me.
You're deciding that, yes, there was contact, but it kind of either did not decide, I guess, the outcome of the play. So Schneider, who haven't really seen too much of this game, has one go off her hands.
Yeah, and that gives a red zone opportunity for Netherlands here to close out that game.
Bas breaks to Kularts. Continuation, Ching. Kularts activated, clears through. Underneath it, and Kularts seals the game. 15-6 final score. Both sides had that feeling out process at the start. And then from 3-all, boy, did the Netherlands kick on. 15-6 final, a 12-3 run.
It did seem like the Netherlands were just that bit more exciting about the game and ready to give it their all. Some things worked out for them better as well, but in general, they just ran over Austria a little bit there.
Yeah, it was what looked like going to be a close, tight game at the start. It just kind of began to fizzle out as the Dutch asserted their dominance. Here was the first turnover of the point. Meisel shooting towards the end zone that Lustelot powered through. And then the winning score just popped over the top. Kularts is the wrong side of Meisel from the Austrian perspective and just has to hop into the end zone for the 15-6 final scoreline. And you can have a look at it again there from the drone angle as well. So we are delighted to say that joining us in the commentary booth is one of the stars for the Dutch in that contest. 1 goal, 6 assists and a block for Anne Minard. Anne, welcome, congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I was a bit nervous, to be honest, for this game because we made it ourselves quite hard to go up again. So we have to win everything and every game is a challenge again. But yeah, I'm happy we won. I'm happy we managed to play the game with a lot of wind like we did. Some ugly things happened, but we trust each other and win. So that's nice.
The two of you traded for the first few points and then the Dutch really kicked on. What was the reason you think you were able to kind of suddenly create that distance?
Well, I think at first we had a few sloppy points and we struggled a lot with their zone and their defense, and we were confused and they were so tight on the handlers, and then at some point we managed to get the wings a bit more in the handler space. I think that helped a lot. We threw some hucks, they not all were converted, but then we put up on a D again, and yeah, I think at some point we got a bit more confidence in our offense and that helped, and then also our D-line just went on, took off, and yeah, I think those 2 points were good from us, I think. Yeah.
What's the mood among the team like? Because obviously you're in the lower pool, which is probably not where you wanted to find yourself, but you kind of feeling positive about what you can do now you're there?
Yeah, well, yeah, yesterday we lost on Universe against Italy and we had a loss on Universe against Swiss, and that was very hard for the team. Like, we were really sad, but on the other hand, we had some very good comebacks in the Italy game, and we were like, wow, okay, this is what we can pull off, and that also gave us a lot of trust for this. So even though we were like really sad of losing and not getting in the upper pool, we had created a lot of trust in it, and we were like, okay, now we're gonna smash it, and we have trust in each other even more of when we started, and I think, yeah, that's the vibe.
Obviously, most of the time we see you playing the mixed division in the club scene for Groot, and of course last week in the open division at under 24s, and now switching again to the women's division. How are you enjoying the experience?
It is super nice also to play women's again, but also I need to adapt a lot of things because I have a bigger role in the handler space, I think, or at least I have more disc contact, and by that sometimes some games I make more turnovers, and that is hard for me to accept because I hate throwing turnovers. So I really have to find a way of accepting sometimes in this role to throw something away and then get it back again, and I'm just trying for no turnovers, but that's maybe not too realistic, but that's my goal. And I think, yeah, I learned a lot also from playing open, and I sometimes it helps me to get open sometimes and gives me confidence of getting open, so I just try to keep that and chat a lot with the handlers, chat a lot with the coach, asking for lots of feedback, and that's how I try to get better in women's as well.
One more question for you, and I'm going to ask about those high release flicks because they were beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know, with this wind I just do not really like a normal flick because, or like I also like normal flicks, but the high release is just my favorite, I think, and I have the feeling I just can always put it in a, especially to floor, but also on high stalls, I can put it in a space on the close side where my teammates are and not the defenders, and it's somehow worked. I only threw it once away, and I think all my other assists almost were the high releases, but actually I shouldn't say that because then now people block me, but
it's all right, we'll cut this out post-production, you'll be fine.
No, but yeah, I like to throw, and I'm happy Floor knows what I'm doing, so yeah.
Lovely. We'll let you get back to your teammates to celebrate. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Absolute pleasure. Lovely to be able to talk to Anne Menard, one of the stars in that game for the Dutch women's side, a player that I have, I think, kind of long since kind of beaten the drum for a little bit offensively. She's just so reliable often for the mixed division, being that kind of the steady reset option, and you heard her there saying that it's a little bit of adjustment to maybe bear a bit more of the brunt of the handling and accept that more turnovers are going to come, and putting the trust in the defense to wing it back. It's a different role, and seems like she's adjusting to it well.
She is, and I do think this is part of a bigger plan for Guts from what I've heard, and of course that's rumors, but managing to put all the players that combine as a perfect mixed team to go single gender for a little bit, get even better at what they're doing, and then growing together again for Worlds in 3 years' time, and then crushing and getting that so well deserved, in my personal opinion, Worlds title at the club championship.
Here are the match stats for you, powered and provided by our friends over at Force Sportswear. 8 breaks for the Netherlands, none for Austria. Just cleaner all round, really. Austria had more clean holds, but they had more opportunities for clean holds because the Dutch got so many breaks, and they generated twice as many break chances. And look at the conversion ratio, 0 for 10 for Austria. That's got to improve. 8 for 20. It's pretty good going in conditions like this.
Yeah, absolutely. The Netherlands just showing they're better and working those stars in again and again. More turns, but not as many more. Because 22 to 30 at a scoreline that is this different just shows that when, as you already pointed out, when Austria held, they did well when Austria were in offense, and you know, they either got a lot or no turnovers. But yeah, overall, just the Netherlands a better team, and I can surely admit that.
So that is going to wrap it up for this pitch, but there is still more Ultimate action this week, and of course, at the moment, because of the delay in the previous game on pitch 11 behind us, there is still roughly probably about half an hour to go in open division action between France and Germany, so I highly recommend flipping over to field 11 to see the thrilling conclusion of that game. But meanwhile, from us at pitch 10, that is it. Another day of EUC in the books. Make sure you watch the conclusion of the open game. And of course, we have got more Limerick Late Night Live from Studio 55 this evening, 9 o'clock from here in Limerick. Keep an eye on the socials as for the guests, and we would love to have your input in that as always. From all of us here, your friend over at ULTI.TV, and for Christina Obermeier alongside me, Benji Rees. We'll see you on the other side for another day of EUC action.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.